The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Okay. At TNA, there was a match. And I don't know everybody that was involved. I know Abyss was involved. I think Raven was involved. You know what match I'm talking about?
I believe I do, yeah.
I know Raven was involved. I know, I think Mick was involved. Mick Foley was involved, I believe. Raven was involved. And Daphne was involved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll never forget watching the show on a monitor. You know, because people don't understand, you know, Kimberly, as a writer, they think like the writer lays out the matches. Mm-hmm. Writers don't lay out matches. We basically say this is what we need as a finish so we can get to the next chapter. And, you know, the agents and the boys lay out the matches.
Right.
So, like, when I'm watching a match, I don't know what the body of that match is. I don't know, you know. So I was watching this one particular match. I know it was a pay-per-view. And I saw Daphne just take this, like, hellacious bump. And you got to understand something. Guys will do whatever they have to do to get over. I got it. Listen, I'll be honest with you. Not too long ago, I got into it with Bubba because did you see that spot Dixie took?
I did, yeah.
I went absolutely ballistic. First of all, she's a female. She's like 125 pounds. Second of all, it was the first bump she's ever taken in her life. Third of all, I knew she was going to go into it scared stiff. And you know, if you're scared, the chance of hurting yourself is multiplied by 1,000,000.
Way more.
I also knew Bubba was doing it to get himself over. I mean, like, that's why all the guys do it. That's why they did it with the spot with Daphne to get themselves over. So, you know, I mean, I threw so many red flags at that. You know, Bubba got hot at me. Even Dixie got hot at me. At the end of the day, she wound up breaking 2 bones in her back. Mm-hmm. You know, so you know, I sat there and I watched the Daphne spot, and I was scared to death. Scared to death. So right away, I'm waiting for her to come on the other side of the curtain, and like I had to take it easy because I knew she was hurt. I knew she was in shock. I knew she was afraid. You know what I mean? When you're hurt like that and you're not feeling yourself, it's very stressful. Mm-hmm. But I just remember I kind of laid into her a little bit, and I'm like, you cannot do that. You can't. Listen, there's one thing in going out with and working with the girls and proving yourself to the girls. There's something completely different with being part of a guy's match and doing what the guys do because you're not built for that. You know, it's that simple. Your body is not built for that. And I was so hot at her for not, you know, telling me about the spot, not being honest, that she was a little concerned going into this spot. And that wound up. To this day, she still suffers from that spot, and she'll be the first one to tell you, and that's why it breaks my heart. Because, and here's why it breaks my heart too, Kimberly, and we're going to get into your situation in a minute, because it's not necessary. Like, you could have done something so much safer, and it wouldn't have mattered. You know, it wasn't necessary, okay? So I got to tell you, a couple of months ago, somebody sends me footage of a female in the ring with a male in the ring. And there were rabid fans ringside. And Kimberly, I have to be honest with you, I could not believe what I was watching. And I'm giving you my raw view now, my raw opinion watching this for the first time. First of all, I didn't know Chris Dickinson from A Hole in the Wall. I still don't know him. I've never spoken to him. How any wrestler, I don't care who you, I would say this to the biggest wrestler in the world. I would tell this to Kurt Angle. How any wrestler could handle a female in the ring that way, I I can't even think on that level. That is so beyond my realm of thinking when it comes to professional wrestling that I will never be able to understand that. Okay, a woman, especially in your case, Kimberly, I bet you probably weigh $115 tops.
Something like that.
Higher or lower?
Higher, a little higher.
120, 125 for goodness sake. You weigh 125 pounds. You have a wrestler in the ring that, A, doesn't know his own strength. B, Kimberly, you know better than anybody. Once you get in a match and you hear the crowd, now the adrenaline starts pumping. And all of a sudden, the first thing he does is he hits you with a chair. Now, I saw that you're on your knees. I saw that shot from behind, Kimberly, and it really didn't look like you put your hands up to protect yourself, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so your hands took the brunt of that chair shot.
100%.
Did the chair hit your head at all?
No, actually, it didn't. It was all.
So it was all hands. Oh, yeah, because like I said, and it was tough to see because that was from behind. That's why I wanted to ask you. But I have to tell you, man, he then picked you up, for the power bomb, and I swear, flung you across the ring like you were a rag doll. I don't care what anybody tells you. I'll bring Chris Dickinson on this show. I could care less. That was an uncontrollable move. He didn't know his own strength. You literally, forget about, breaking your neck, breaking your back. You were literally this far from hitting the back of your head on the ring post. Okay? So many things could have gone wrong. I hope you realize how lucky you are to be talking to me now, not in a wheelchair, not crippled, not with major brain damage. So many things could have gone wrong. So here's the first thing I want to ask you, because I want to understand this. And this is why I'm bringing this up, Kimberly, not to pick on you.
Oh, I know.
But it was the same situation with Shannon, Daphne.
Yeah.
When you're involved with guys, I'll tell them, I told Bubba this and he got hot at me. Guys are going to do whatever they can do to get themselves over. Period. End of story. And when a woman is involved with the guy in laying out the match, and it's a man's world, I want to prove myself to them. I want to earn my spot. I get it. Like, I get everything that's racing through your mind. So, like, you're going out there and you're doing it. How does that conversation first take place in the back?
I mean, leading into that spot and everything we were doing, because that was the very, very end. We had about 15-minute match before all of that happened. So, and for the majority of the match, I was actually beating him up. It was like, and going into that match, I had been on a 16-month winning streak, and I'm the only girl who worked in this company. So I guess both of us talking about it to go into it, we were like, okay, we got to do something real big. Like, this has to be really, really big. What can we do? And obviously we went way too big.
Can I stop you right there, Kimberly? Because, I want to understand the mindset. I really do, and I want people to understand the mindset. So, first of all, I have to ask you, how many people were in attendance?
Probably a solid 200 or 300 that show.
Okay, so, when you guys say we have to do something really big, I mean, is it not taken into consideration that there are 200 people at the show?
I mean, I guess I've just always tried.
You got caught up in it. Yeah,
I'm going to give my best for 3 people because they paid money to come see me, so I don't want to, but that's kind of always been my mindset.
Kimberly, giving your best is one thing.
Right.
Putting yourself in jeopardy is something completely different. Okay, so you're talking and you're trying to come up with a big spot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind me talking to you about this?
No, not
because
at all.
listen, girls cannot be doing this. And that's why, like, I'm trying to break it down because Kimberly, other girls are going to be put in the same spot, and you're lucky. I mean, lucky. and Daphne was not lucky. She still deals with it. So
Daphne was one of the first people who talked to me about this when everything happened. So,
okay,
yeah.
All right. So you're talking about we got to come up with something really big.
Yeah. I've had chair shots before, so like I wasn't concerned with that. I knew how to protect myself on it, and I've seen him give that power bomb to other people. So again, I was just like, I'm okay. I've seen other people survive. Like, I'll be fine. I didn't. That was my fault, not taking into consideration he's usually throwing a dude,
right?
Not little me,
right.
And so it was all of that factoring together. Never once did I feel like he was trying to do it to get himself over solely. I felt like it was both of our decisions to go into those moves, but then after the fact, obviously, because hindsight is 20/20, I was like, okay, I am completely unhurt, but I'm very lucky that I am after watching it.
Kimberly, going into that, were you at all afraid?
No.
Because you're thinking, I've seen him give a power bomb a million times, but you're not thinking he literally can throw me out of the ring because I'm only like 125 pounds. Mm-hmm. Okay, now
I also have like fearlessness to a fault.
Well, you can't
sometimes.
though, Kimberly. You got to stop that. You know, there's stuff to be afraid of. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Kimberly, I have to tell you, when anybody that watches it, like, it comes across like as such a violent act. Like it made me sick. I hated this guy.
It's hard for me to watch it, and I'm the one who got up and was fine.
Okay, yeah, so. and like, listen, I don't know this guy. I hate him for doing that. I mean, I'm just sorry. I do. If he ever wants to come on the show and talk to me, he's more than welcome to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let me ask you this: once you take that power bomb, you know, let's start with the impact. Like, are you winded? Are you like, holy crap, what just happened to me? Like, what's going through your mind at that point?
Really, all I did, I took the impact and I went, really my first thought was, holy crap, I went far, because I did hit, the ring bell was sitting in the corner, and I did slide into the ring bell, and so I knew how far I had to have flown, but it wasn't anything of, like, winded, or, like, the impact and everything was fine. I felt fine. It didn't hurt me at all more than it should have. And so at that point, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to lay here. Like, I'm not going to move because that had to have just looked ridiculous.
Now, Kimberly, I have to ask you this as well, too, because, again, did the promoter know what you guys were going to do?
He knew that I was taking the Pazuzu bomb at the end. And I think we asked him if we could use a chair too. So yeah, he was aware.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. When you saw it back for the first time, what did you think?
Just like, holy crap. Nothing more than that. Just holy crap. Wow. I'm lucky I'm alive.
but was the feeling that looked wow, or was the feeling I'm lucky I'm alive?
I'm lucky I'm alive.
Now let me ask you this too. Now, you mentioned your mother a couple of times in this interview. You still have a dad?
Yeah.
You still close to your dad? Mm-hmm. Did they see this?
I immediately called my mother and was like, there's a video that just went viral. Don't watch it. I'm fine. Don't watch it. I was like, if you watch it and I've told you not to watch it, that's your own fault. I was like, it looks terrible. I was like, it's just gonna, and I honestly don't know if they ever did or not, but I told her not to immediately before she got the chance to.
Okay, now, Kimberly, I didn't know this existed till today because I was, Wikipediaing you and doing Google and whatnot, and I noticed that you cut a video a couple of days later, like basically saying I'm okay.
Yeah.
Basically so was there a lot of heat? Was there a lot of tell me what happened after the incident.
I pretty much took myself off the internet completely for a couple days until that video came out. I had a lot of people who were genuinely concerned that hit me up. I had a lot of girls that were very angry with me doing it that hit me up. I had fans, like, I just watched the debates happen of fans, like, getting really, really upset to some like trying to support it. And like, because there was kind of a divide of like, they just worked everybody to know like that should have never happened. And I just kind of sat back and watched it all, and then put the announcement out that I was okay when I was like, okay, people are getting a little too much. Like, I need to say something now and let everybody know that I'm fine. Like, it's okay. Like, a lot of the decisions were mine as well. Like, because Chris really got it bad, like death threats and stuff.
Kimberly, I got to be honest with you, and I'm just giving you my honest opinion. When I saw that video, I'm talking about the I'm okay video. It really came across to me like you were trying to protect him. That's kind of how I took it. So was that as much a part as I'm okay?
It was just kind of trying to be. I was just trying to smooth out the whole situation. Like, I don't necessarily like say I was trying to protect him or I was trying to protect anybody. I was just trying to be like, look, I'm okay. As much as he was a part of it, I was also a part of making the decisions to do that. Like, it's not like, did we expect it to go like that? No. Did it? Yes. We can only learn from it. Please still support all the independents, and please still support Beyond, even though this incident happened.
Kimberly, can I ask you a question? Why didn't he cut the same video?
I don't know.
I mean, I think if this guy was getting death threats, and I don't doubt that for a second, because Kimberly, I never met him. I don't like him. I don't like him for the fact that he would do that. I don't like him. So that's why, like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, if anybody should have cut a video, it should have been him saying, you know what, I got carried away myself. I got caught up. Thank God she's okay. It's all on me. Please forgive me. I mean, I think that would have made me look at him differently. But for you to come on and have to tell everybody I'm okay and this guy to say nothing, that's what tells me he still did it to get himself over. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Now, I want to ask you a couple things. Kimberly, no way you woke up the next morning with your neck not hurting. I mean, you can't tell me the next morning you hopped out of bed and did a point.
I mean, I was sore, but not anything that I don't usually experience. It really, really didn't make it much worse than usual. I can't say it did, other than I had a lump. I had a lump on my head from hitting the ring bell. I did have a lump. That was
no concussion?
No, I mean, a little lump on your head, I guess, technically a mild one, but
you didn't feel any effects of a concussion?
No.
Kimberly, am I being oversensitive here, do you think?
No, I mean, if you had just looked at that video and haven't spoken to me, I 100% understand why you would think.
And now I'm even hot.
It hurt and like my leg.
And now I'm even hotter because I know you. So now I'm even hot. Now it's worse than when we began. Okay. Now, Kimberly, let me ask you this. You said something very interesting. Okay, because I want to get into the psychology of this now with you a little bit. You said something very interesting. One of the first people to call you was Daphne. Mm-hmm. What was that conversation? What did she say to you?
She was just first of all, very, very concerned because she's one of my dearest, closest friends, and just wanted to make sure I was okay. And then she told me about that happening to her and people pressuring her into doing spots and how she can't wrestle anymore because of it. And just to, it happened and you can't take it back, and thankfully you're okay from it. But she just told me to be much smarter about my decisions going forward and what moves I do decide to allow myself to take and who I do allow to give my body to them to use to, because we're all giving each other to, to make this magic that we call wrestling. And she just wants me to pay more attention and be safer so I can have a long career and that I don't get taken advantage of and have to end it short like she did.
You're not going to do anything like that again, right?
No. I've so learned my lesson. It's insane.
No matter what.
No matter what. Or else you're going to Skype me now and yell at me.
Okay. let me ask you this. Here's the part that's interesting to me. you said earlier in the interview that, you were like one girl at the school with all the guys. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm even sure that, some things probably happened at the wrestling school that we don't know about. Being that you were the only girl and the rest of these guys are all guys, I'm sure you took some bumps that were difficult for a girl, okay? Now, I have to ask you this, and Kimberly, I'm asking you this because other girls are going to be put in the same position you were. There's no doubt about that, because these freaking guys just want to get themselves over. I'm telling you, I got so hot at Dixie Carter because she didn't understand I was trying to protect her, because I know the mindset of a wrestler. In Bubba's mind, they're going to talk about that forever, putting Dixie through a table. I knew she was going to hurt herself. That's why, but when you're in that situation, now be honest with me from a psychological point of view. Is it more on you or is it more on them? In other words, are you really feeling like you're being pressured, or are you putting the pressure on yourself because this is a man's world? I've got to earn my spot. I've got to show them that I can get in the ring and do what they do. So do you think, is there really a pressure from the guys? In other words, if you would have said, you know what, I feel I'm uncomfortable with that, would it have been okay with them? Were you putting the pressure on yourself?
I think we definitely, as wrestlers, male or female alike, if there's anything that you don't feel comfortable with, we really need to stick to our guns and our morals and be willing to tell the person, I don't want to do that. No is your biggest weapon. And I do think sometimes I do put the pressure on myself to be like, yes, I want to be in there. I want to do this. I want to show that I can take this move. Like, just because I'm a girl, why can't I? But my biggest learning from this is we do have to realize there are physical differences between a man and a woman. Not always. Yeah. Dickinson is a huge guy.
You could probably.
Sometimes there's some guys I'm a little more even with.
Yeah, he's been on this show. He's a friend of this show, so I have no problem saying this. You could probably take Rockstar Spud. I have no problem saying that whatsoever. But
Let's make it happen.
Please finish your thought, Kimberly.
But we just have to take into consideration that we only have one body. It's the one instrument we have to do this thing that we love. And every time we take a risk that's a little too much, we run the risk of losing that one instrument we have. And once it's gone, it's gone. And do you want it to be gone tomorrow because you thought this bump was going to be really cool? And yes, some people might be like, oh, you're just being a baby, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you do this move? But no, I believe that we really need to teach people more, that they need to stick to their guns. And I'm not even trying to sound cocky, but I'm a good wrestler. I trained hard. I worked hard. I had good teachers. I shouldn't have to do something insane to make somebody believe in me.
The risk is not the reward.
Correct.
It's not worth the reward. Hey, Kimberly, I got to tell you something. Mm-hmm. I just got just as hot because he's a very, very good friend of mine, and it's very similar. It's a very similar case. When I saw freaking Seth Rollins, a 28-year-old guy, throw a 55-year-old Sting around the ring like he was a rag doll, I was like, are you like out of, this is a 55-year-old man. Just like you're a woman. Here's a 28-year-old guy with a 55-year-old man. Freaking Sting almost broke his neck. Mm-hmm. But that's what it, Kimberly, I have to tell you myself, I just went over in the UK and I had not taken a bump in like 15 years. Mm-hmm. And every night I was there, they had me taking a bump. And I have to tell you, I was scared to death. I took every bump they wanted me to take because this is always my concern when I'm working with, one of the boys. I don't want to make them look bad. Mm-hmm. That's always my concern. I don't want to make them look bad. Just like you. I'm in there with the guy. I can take this. This is going to look great. Sting said the same thing. I can take this. I can do this. But the reality is the risk is not worth the God, it is so easy to get crippled in that ring. People don't understand one small calculation. Boom. It is over. Good night, Irene. And then it's not just not wrestling anymore. It's not walking anymore.
Right.
You know, so, God, I really, really hope you're being truthful.
I absolutely, absolutely truthful.
What would you say? What would you say to somebody in your position? You know, say here's a girl just getting in the wrestling business, 22 years old. She's in a small indie promotion, and all of a sudden, a guy who has seniority, who's been there for a while, okay, lays out a spot, and off the bat, she's not comfortable with this spot. But again, girls are afraid to talk. They're not going to use me again. Yada 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 yada. What would you tell that girl to do?
Speak up. You have to be willing to speak up. If you're not comfortable with something, tell them. And if they're a professional, they will find a way to work around it. If they're not professional, they'll be the ones that say, oh, you can do it. What do you mean you're not comfortable? You're going to be fine. No. If you don't feel comfortable about something, if you have a gut feeling, don't do it. That's when you get hurt.
Yeah, okay. Well, listen, Kimber, I'm glad. I'm first of all, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah.
Because now I like you. So now, like I said, now I'm really hot because I didn't know you before. Now it's all his fault. You had nothing to do with it. So, Kimberly, what's next for you? Tell me what's next for you. What's coming up for you?
This weekend, actually, I have 3 shows. I'm wrestling Mickie James for MCW on Friday. I'm really excited about that.
Have you ever met Mickie?
I have. I've had a couple matches with her now.
Tremendous person.
Yep, wonderful person. Amazing worker, too. So I'm really excited for that. And then I'll be at the Jersey All-Pro show wrestling Shelly Martinez on Saturday.
Shelly was just on my show last week.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, me and her just started talking about a week ago, and she's a great person. So I'm really looking forward to that, too. Yeah. And then the day after that, I make my debut for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, so all over the place coming up.
What do you do? So mainly your schedule is, you're kind of booked every weekend, wrestling all weekend long. What do you do with the rest of your time now?
I substitute teach ballet classes. Every once in a while I'll get called in to teach for a couple studios around Philly. And then I also work for a place called the Couch Tomato Bistro. I'm a waitress. I've been doing that. It put me through school. My grandparents own a restaurant out here in Seattle, so I'm a good waitress.
Good Italian food?
It's a pizza, like high quality gourmet pizzas, salads, and burgers, but we can do everything gluten-free. So if you have celiac, you can come and eat at our restaurant safely. Nice. But we have all the gluten too. So
celiac sounds like some kind of disease where you're growing an extra limb or something.
You can't eat any wheat gluten, so no bread. How awful does that?
Oh, God, forget about it.
Yeah.
That okay, now, Kimberly, how can everybody follow you? How can we follow your career and see what you're doing on a weekly basis?
I've got Facebook, which is facebook.com/bombshellkimberly. Then there's Twitter and Instagram, which are both the same handle, which is @Kimber_Lee90. And you can also find me on wordpress.com/Kimberly90.
Now, Kimberly, do you still see this Chris?
I do from time to time. I do see him.
Well, honestly, if you ever see him and he catches wind of this video and he doesn't like the way he portrayed, seriously, contact me. I will gladly bring him on. And listen, here's the thing. I'll even take it easy on him because I know how wrestlers think. I know how easy it is to get caught up in it. I understand completely. But, Mick Foley's your perfect example. Yeah, I was there for Hell in the Cell.
Right.
When he came through the back, I was like, are you out of your freaking mind? Same thing, same exact thing. But I'd be happy, to have him on the show. And, like I said, I was a little rough on him, but I understand the mindset, but that still doesn't make it right.
Right. I mean, and I agreed to it, so I'm at fault too.
Well, Kimberly, listen, thanks for joining me today on Vixens Who Rule. I hope you didn't mind me talking to you about that.
No, absolutely, not at all.
Because I think it'll help a lot. This is a show for women.
Right, and if my experience can help so another girl doesn't have to go through that, then that's what I'm here for.
Good. Well, listen, Kimberly, thanks for joining us today. Don't hang up yet because I'm going to end the show, but I want to personally say thank you. But, you are a good sport. Thank God you're okay.
Yeah.
And thanks for being here today on Vixens Who Rule.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. I will see you right here next week. Thanks for joining me.
Pro Wrestling's history class is now in session with Back to the Territories. Join host Jim Cornette and J.J. Dillon as they explore Mid-Atlantic wrestling.
Sitting there with his hands like this was Jim Crockett Sr.
3.5 hours of wrestling history told through rare memorabilia and exclusive footage.
Nothing topped Wahoo McDaniel and Johnny Valentine.
Featuring over an hour of lost Mid-Atlantic film footage from Jim Cornette's collection.
The kid from Minnesota. It was going to be something. Ric Flair.
Head back to Mid-Atlantic Wrestling at shootinterviews.com.